So in today's session, we are going to discuss about JavaScript conditions. JavaScript conditions. Okay. Well, here we have if condition, if else condition, if else if condition, switch condition. Okay. Well, first of all, these are conditions, guys. If condition means only you will use if block. If means you will use if block, else block, both. I'm going to the background script to explain you the better. Okay. So here you see, I am writing if here, if parenthesis, the block. Here in the if, in the parenthesis, you must pass true or false. Either true or false. Okay. If you pass true, only the if, only within the if block will be executed. Getting my point? gs.print I am Uday. Let me run the script. So as I have given true here, it is executing. If I give false here, it won't execute. It won't execute. So in the if condition, if parenthesis, you have to pass either Boolean value true or false. If it is true, only within this if block will be executed. If it is false, within the if block will not be executed. Okay. So here 18 greater than 10 is this true or false? What is the expected output here? 18 greater than 10 is the true or false? It's true. As it is giving the output true, within the if condition will be executed. I am giving 18 greater than 70. It will give false. Within the if block will not be executed. Okay. This point is clear, right? So here, end of the day, you have to pass Boolean value true or false. So 18 greater than 70 will give you Boolean value false. If it is false, within the if condition will not be executed. 18 greater than 10 will give you output as 10. As it is giving 10, within the if block will be executed. Okay. Okay. Now, here comes the question. Only if I am not using block. I'm not using block. Okay. If I don't use block, so here you must pass true or false. If the condition is met after the if condition, second line is there, right? If the condition is met, the second line will be executed. If the condition is not met, second line will not be executed. Only one line. Okay. Let me just show you. gs.print I am Uday Gadiparthi. As the condition is true, let me give 20 greater than 10. It is true, right? As it is true, this line will be executed. So I am not writing this line in the blocks. I am Uday Gadiparthi. If I am giving 20 greater than 70, 20 greater than 70, this line is not executed. Let me write the next line here. gs.print. I am Uday. So this condition is false. This line will not be executed, and this line will be executed. You're getting my point? If you use block, if you keep it in the block, how many lines you keep it in the block, those many lines will be executed. If you don't keep it in the block, only next line. Only next line. If the condition is true, next line will be executed. If the condition is false, next line will be skipped. As the condition is false, next line is skipped. So let me give you 120 greater than 70. Condition is true. This line will be executed. I am Uday Gadiparthi. I am Uday. Both the lines are printing. Do you understand? If without block, with block. So in this condition, you must pass true or false. The true or false, you can pass it as conditions. Okay. You are able to understand, right? Okay. We have truthy falsy values. Truthy falsy values. What do I mean by truthy falsy values? 0 means false. 0 means false. Except 0, any number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 are true. If I give 0, 0 means it will take it as false. This line will not be executed. Only I am Uday will be executed. If I give -1, -1 means it is taking as true. Only 0 means false. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, any number you take, that is true. Guys, remember this point. 0 means false. Any number means true. Here I have given -1. Minus means 1 means it is taking as true. Okay. Then this line is executed. If I give you 7, 7 means true or false. 7 means true or false, guys. Answer me. Okay. So 7 means true. Then this line will be executed. If I give 0 here, second line will be executed. It is false. Now, empty string means false. Empty string means false. Okay. If any string you take, in the string, if there is any character or any value, it will be true. Empty string. So here I am giving empty string. This is an empty string. Empty string means false. If false, this line will not be executed. I am giving Uday here. Value is there, right? Then it will take it as true. This is not an empty string. This is a string. Then it will take it as true. As it is true, the second line will be executed. Do you understand truthy falsy values? 0 means false, empty string means false. Any number means true, any string means true. Okay. We'll take one object here. We'll take one array. What exactly it will take and all. It is taking it as true. It is taking it as true. We'll pass object here. It is also taking as true. Okay. 0 means false. We'll pass empty object here. We'll pass empty object. Empty object also it is taking as true. So truthy false values means 0 and empty space will be taken as truthy false values. Okay, we'll see them here. False, 0, minus 0. What is this? In empty string, empty strings are actually false. Null, undefined, not a number. It is taken as false value. 0 is a false value. If condition or okay. Here it is taking as true. It is taking as false. Equal to false means true, right? You are getting my point. This is directly taking it as false. Okay. If it is false, what is there in the if block will not be executed. So empty array equal to false. Empty array means false is what it is telling. We did not take empty array, right? Empty array means false. This line should not be executed. This line is not executed. So empty array is also taken as falsy value. You can remember this point, guys. Okay. False, 0, empty strings. Okay. Empty single quotes or empty double quotes, undefined, null. Will pass null here. Null means false it is taken. We'll use undefined. Undefined means it is taking false. Not a number. And means not a number. Not a number means false. So these are the truthy falsy values. Okay. You understand, right? What are truthy falsy values and all? Mark this one. In the if condition, in the if parenthesis, you have to pass Boolean value true or false. So you have to use conditions. Conditions will give you output true or false. Conditions will give you output true or false. Getting my point? So in the if conditions, you must pass true or false. That is what you have to remember blindly. And after this, if you have block here, the block, whatever the script is you wrote here, whole script will be executed if the condition is true. If the condition is false, the inside the if block will not be executed. If you don't use block, only next line. Okay. As it is true, next line will be executed. If it is false, next line will not be executed. Okay. This is about only if part. If else, what if the condition is met? What if the condition is not met? We are now discussing only what if the condition is met. We have to now discuss what if the condition is not met. What if the condition is not met? Okay. We have to use if else. If condition else. For else, you don't have to write the condition. Here you don't have to write the condition. Only here you have to write the condition. If it is true, within the if block will be executed. If it is false, within the else block will be executed. I am giving you an example where age is equal to 35. I am giving here. Okay. Age greater than or equal to 18. Okay. gs.print eligible for vote. Not eligible for vote. 35 greater than or equal to 18. Is that true or false? Is that true? That is true. As the condition is true, this line of script will be executed. If the condition is false, this line of script will be executed. Getting my point? Just run script here. So it is saying eligible for vote. If I am giving 13 here, 13 greater than or equal to 18. False. False means whatever is there in the else block will be executed. Getting my point? A guy is a teenager or not, will check. Okay, if he is between 10 to, if he is between 14 to 18, we call him as teenager. Okay. Less than or equal to 18 and is greater than or equal to 14. Okay. Teenager. Not a teenager. Age I am giving here as 13. 13 means he is a teenager. Not a teenager. If I give 16 here, it will say teenager. Getting my point? If the condition is met, within the if block will be executed. If the condition is not met, then the else block will be executed. Okay. Okay. Now I have multiple conditions. If the current bill, let us take current bill program. This question was asked me during my first interview. I don't forget about this. So this question was asked. Um, this question was asked in the um, There is a next to Durgan Cheru metro station. There is one building, Christopher. In that, when I was a fresher, they did ask this question. If the current, if the number of units utilized is 100, the current bill should be, the unit cost will be 10 rupees. Number of units utilized. If you use below 100, the unit cost will be 10 rupees. If you have utilized between 100 to 200, the unit cost is 15 rupees. If you have utilized between 200 to 300, the unit cost is 20 rupees. If you have utilized between 300 to 400, the unit cost is 25. Okay, here you can see below 100, that will be one cost. Between 200, 100 and 200, that will be one cost. Between 200 to 300, that will be one cost. 300 to 400, that will be one cost. 400 to 500, one cost. Beyond 500 means we have to charge 100 rupees per unit. Just imagine. I have multiple conditions here. If you have multiple conditions, you have to write nested if else. If else if, how many conditions you have to write, those many else if you have to write. Okay. These conditions also, you have to write it in a sequence. You cannot write the conditions blindly. First itself, if the condition is between 500 to 600 means, if the condition is, if the number of units is greater than 500 and less than 600 means, okay, we should be very careful when we are writing the conditions. So first thing, I am taking number of units. Where unit is equal to, I am taking first of all 45 units I am taking. Units less than 100. gs.print units multiplication operator 10 rupees plus the units greater than or equal to 100, units less than 200. Okay, it is 15 rupees cost. Unit cost is 15 rupees. Units greater than or equal to 200 and units less than 300. Unit cost is 20 rupees. Okay. $300 to $400. Unit cost is 25 rupees. $400 to $500. 30 rupees. 500 to 600, 85 rupees. And beyond that, beyond 600, it is 50 rupees. Okay. Now, what number of units utilized is 45, right? So the current bill guy will come to and they will look at your meter number, and you utilize how many units you utilized. He'll look at it, and he will generate the bill. The program that runs behind is this one. Okay. So 45 into 10, 450 rupees is the current power bill. 45 into 10. Okay. ₹450. If it is 145 rupees, if it is 145 units, this is the current bill. If it is 245 units, this will be the current bill. Okay. If it is 345 units, this will be the current bill. If it is 445, this will be the current bill. If it is 545, this will be the current bill. If it is 645, this will be the current bill. Okay. Getting my point? So likewise, you will get the current bill, guys. So here we have multiple conditions. That is why I have taken nested if else condition. See, if the condition is met and if the condition is not met, then you will go for if else. If there are multiple conditions, you will use nested if else. Getting my point? Okay, fine. I'll show you an example that I created today. You can see I've used if, else if, else if, else. I've used nested if else here, as there are multiple conditions. See, if the game means new value means game here. If the game is cricket, what should happen? What should happen? I wrote here. If the game is football, what should happen? If the game is hockey, what should happen? Okay, if the game is if none of the game selected, what should happen? Okay, you are clear, right? So likewise, we'll be using nested if else conditions. Getting my point? You are able to understand nested if else. When do we use nested if else? In the conditions, remember you must pass true or false values. That is an important thing. Okay. And the last one is switch condition. Switch. Okay. Using ServiceNow scripting, I'm taking today's day. Today is Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. Guys, ServiceNow will give you numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1 means Monday, 2 means Tuesday, 3 means Wednesday. Okay. Likewise, it will give numbers. So what am I doing is var day is equal to new glide date time. This glide date time and all I'll tell you later. Okay. This will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. It will give you. If it is 1, you have to pass day here. You have to pass any value here. If it is 1, okay, I have to print gs.print Monday. So 1 means Monday. 2 means Tuesday. 3 means six means Saturday. 7 means Sunday. Invalid day. Okay. So here this will give you 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. It will give you. It will store numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If it is 1, it will print Monday. And it will actually stop the execution here. Break means it will stop the execution here. If it is true, it will print Tuesday, it will stop the execution here. If it is 3, it will actually print Wednesday, it will stop the execution here. If it is 4, it will print this one, it will stop the execution here. If it is 5, it will actually print this one, it will stop the execution here. If it is 6, it will print this line, it will stop the execution here. If it is 7, it will print this line, it will stop the execution here. If unknown day is selected, let us say I have given some syntax error here. Okay. What is it giving? Invalid day. Now I am giving here. Okay. I am executing now. Today is Friday, right? So it should print Friday here. It is printing Friday or not? So it is giving 5 number. 5 number means it will go here. And this line will be printed. And it will stop execution here. So if I remove this block, okay. So it is giving 5 number, right? From 5, it will print. There is no break here, right? 6 will print. 7 also will print. Let me execute this one. It has printed invalid day also. From Friday onwards, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, invalid day. So here, suppose in place of this date, if you take 1 here, I am taking 1 here. So 1 means Monday, right? From Monday it will print all days. From Monday it will print all days. Okay. So you have to use break here. You understand my point, right? Okay. Here comes the question. Here comes the question. I will give you an email. Is that a valid email address or not? I have to check. Okay. I'll give you an email where mail is equal to Mahesh gmail.com. Is this a valid email? The red symbol is not there. So we should not consider that as an email. So I have to check it using Twitter. Okay. Let me just go to the chat GPT and check the regular expression here. Use phone number one. I think this is for email address. Where rejects is equal to okay if okay mail dot match rejects. Okay. What exactly this does is that it will give you null or string. If it is in the email format, it will give you the email. If it is not in the email format, it will give null is a truthy falsy value. Null is a truthy falsy. Null is a truthy value or falsy value. Null is a falsy value, right? Okay, null is a falsy value. So let me just print the output of this one. gs.print is giving null. Null is a falsy value, right? If it is not matching, it will give null. If it is matching, let us say, let me give @ here. If it is matching, it will give string. String means any string means is truthy value, right? Any string means truthy value, right? Now, if so here I am passing not true or false, I am passing truthy falsy value here. Mail dot match rejects gs.print valid email else invalid email. So now the expected output is valid email. Valid email. Invalid email. So here, the if condition I wrote here. This one is a string. This one is a regular expression. I compared this. I am comparing this string with this regular expression. And it will give you truthy falsy value. If it is truthy value, within the if condition will be executed. If it is falsy value, null is a falsy value, right? Then within the else part will be executed. So this is how we'll use the condition. Yesterday, we did discuss one example. Let us say we are able to identify the email list from an object. We are able to get the email list from an object. Hmm? So let us say here, guys, where Uday object. This is the object. Okay. Name colon emails colon this 522 is actually my 7th standard score and 10th standard score. Both are same. Same number. Even in the 7th standard, I have got 572. Even in the 10th standard, I have got 522. So that is why I am using Uday Kishore 522. Okay. So out of 600, I have got 522. I lost 40 marks in English itself. I lost 40 marks in the English itself. In fact, I'll I'll I'll, I'll explain about it once I stop the recording. Okay. This is something little more personal. Okay. So this is an object. In the object, my name is there, my email addresses are there. So from this object, I have to get my emails, guys. Where Uday mails is equal to Uday object dot emails. So now you tell me this is a string or array. This is array. Array. You will get array here. You will get array here. Okay. So then what you will do? All email addresses are valid or not, we have to check. All email addresses are valid or not, I have to check. Yesterday we have seen already. So we have to use loops concept. The loops and all, I have to yet to teach that I will be teaching on Monday. Where I is equal to 0, I less than Uday mails dot length I plus plus. Okay. So what happens? It will loop through each email. If condition I am writing in the for loop. Condition I am writing in the for loop. Okay. So what am I doing is, this one is not a valid email. This one is not a valid email. So I have to show valid email separately, invalid email separately. Where valid mails taking one array, where invalid mails as a separate array. Uday mails index of I dot match. We have to take the rejects. Okay. So what you will do, you will push it under valid emails. Valid emails dot push to the emails of. If it is matching the regular expression, you are adding it under valid emails. If it is not matching, you will push it under invalid emails. Which means what? It will add an element in the end. Okay. gs.print valid emails. It is array, right? I'm converting it as a string. Invalid emails. So when I execute this one, it should give you output with a valid email addresses and invalid email addresses. So these are the valid email addresses. Okay, invalid email addresses actually Uday Kishore 533 is actually invalid email. Uday Kishore 544 at gmail.com is missing. It's not a valid email address. And Uday Kishore 522 gmail.com at the rate is missing. So we are able to identify 3 are invalid email addresses and 2 are valid email addresses. So we are able to separate it, right? From the object, what did I do? I take the emails key. That I am able to identify that is an array. If that is a string, what will you do? If that is a string, what will you do? You will convert that string into array again. Suppose this is a string. This emails is a string. You will convert string into array, then you will play with array. First of all, when you are writing the script, what is the input, what is the output, you should understand. So here, what is the input? This is the input. That input, which format you are getting? What is the output? We want invalid value, invalid emails and valid emails. So if you are clear with the inputs, you should be clear. If you are clear with the inputs and outputs, you will think the logic. If you are not clear with the inputs and outputs, you won't be able to think the logic. The input here is emails. That is actually in the array format. So then you have to convert array. You have to loop through each array. You have to loop through array to print each element. You have to loop through array to print each element. For that, you will use for loop. So for using for loop, you will loop through each element. Each element is matching the email format or not. I am checking here. Each element is matching the email format or not. I'm checking here. If it is matching the email format, then I'm adding it to the valid emails. If it is not matching, it is going to the else part. It will add it into the invalid emails. Okay, so I'm printing valid emails and invalid emails both. You are getting my point? So we have an object. From the object, we have taken array. In the array, we have looped through each element. Each element is in the email format or not, I am checking. So if the element is actually in the email format, I am adding into the valid emails. If the element is not in the email format, I am adding into the invalid emails. That is what I have separated. So for valid emails, invalid emails, I have taken separate empty arrays. In the empty arrays, I am pushing those. So this all will come by experience. Do you understand how to play the data? See, nothing more than that. If you are able to understand these concepts, ServiceNow is easy. These concepts, this playing with data is very important. If you are not, if you are not actually understanding the playing with the data, I would request you to go through these sessions 3 to 4 times. See, playing with the data is actually is about software. Software is about playing with the data. See, the difference between some people and as is that, let me just stop the recording. I'll explain about it.